By the time you watch this, the Lullaby event will be over, and by done, we have the Gloria Dorn event happening, which I did do a video about, by the way, or will do a video about, because it's still Monday night at the recording of this video. So I have two Skull and Bones characters, my primary character, and then I created the secondary character for my beginner's guide video. And you know that Ubisoft made a little oopsie, and they sent us the event currency for Darktide Lullaby so we could buy the cosmetics and have a little extra to spend. Well, small problem. I have 7,000 event currency from Darktide Lullaby, and I already purchased the cosmetics in the shop, which are probably, by the time you're watching this video, gone. But here is the issue. This is a relatively new character. I only created her for a guide video, like my beginner's guide. This is where she resides, is in the Red Isles. And I only have a few hours left before the end of this event. Here's the problem. I have not even discovered Telok Penjarah yet, and that is where the Darktide altar is for me to spend my remaining 7,000 event currency. I forgot what exactly it's called. I mean, every event we have a new event currency. Every season we have a new season currency. So I just call them event currency, season currency. You get the idea. So what I'm going to do in this video is we're going to take a journey with my second character all the way to Telok Penjarah. And the only actual ship she has besides the Dow, her better. So yeah, I only made this thing. Well, I didn't make it. Skurlock gave it to me. So this is the only ship I have right now. So yeah, let me move all this to the warehouse real quick. So I decided at the spur of the moment that I'm going to record my journey with my secondary character from St. Anne to Telok. Now, I did get the chest, though, so I got this Ascended chest. I'll open it in the future whenever I decide to come back to this character. Maybe I'll do a beginner series with her, or maybe we'll do something else down the road. But I didn't want to completely get rid of her, right? Because, you know, I did create her for a purpose for the beginner's guide. And I thought, you know what? Let's bring her back for this quest across the Indian Ocean. So off we go to Telok in the better. The one advantage I have over a new player is that I'm a veteran, right? I have experience. I know what I'm doing, kind of, sort of. So I guess this is going to be advice for any new player the first time you decide to venture across the open waters towards Telok in the East Indies. I'm going to attempt to do it the smart way in order to get me there in one piece. Now, whether or not I make it in one piece remains to be seen. But we're going to give it the old schoolgirl effort. So that is the plan. So yeah, I know about the action wheel. Thank you very much, video game. But I'm glad that the game does kind of give you a tutorial sorts, just like I was trying to do with my beginner's guide video. And thanks to everyone that did take the time to watch the beginner's guide. And if you are new to Skull and Bones, I will link my beginner's guide video below in the description section. And if you happen to have any questions, myself and other veteran captains in Skull and Bones will be more than happy to answer any questions you happen to have. But for the most part, the game does a pretty decent job trying to help you learn the ropes in the game. So my quest is to try and just cut across the ocean. I guess we'll cut down this way and discover some islands, and then make a beeline north for Telok. So there'll probably be some editing in this video. I'll probably jump ahead whenever I don't really have anything to say or there's nothing happening. But overall, I do appreciate all of you that have subscribed to the channel, watching the videos and the live streams for Skull and Bones. And over the past year, credit to Ubisoft Singapore, this game has definitely come a long ways. When it first launched, after what, a decade of production hell, and being started and stopped and scrapped and restarted a few times, according to the stories, it's amazing that this game, is where it is today. And I really hope that we do get a year 3. We are getting season 3, year 2 coming up in just a few weeks from now, which I will absolutely be covering whenever that launches. I think it's October 12th. I could be wrong about that. We currently have, the Gloria Dorn event happening, and you're hopefully going to be able to get the cosmetics for that event. It's only going to last, I think, 2 weeks. So try to get at least those 5 cosmetics, and I'm going to check that out in the future. Well, from my point of view, the future. But you probably already know about that, because I already have that video up. It's all timey-wimey. But yeah, I'm hopeful that this community is strong enough and supportive enough to ensure that we will get a year 3 in Skull and Bones. I feel like we will. But yeah, I went from, I'm not really proud to say this, I wasn't exactly optimistic about this game when it was first announced, like back in 2017, because it just felt like only half of the equation that we wanted. Those of us that were Black Flag fans, or pirate fans in general, that loved Assassin's Creed Black Flag, we liked the boat, the Jackdaw, but we also liked being the pirate, Edward Kenway, and being able to go onto islands and search for treasure, and also get into sword fights with enemies. That was the other half of the equation. When the game was first announced, it was only about ships. But changes from 2017 to last year, they tried to meet fans somewhere in the middle by giving us some land exploration. Mainly just to go on shore and accept quests and pick up treasure maps and grab loot here and there. Something that I thoroughly enjoyed doing in various games. Looks like we have a message in the bottle over here. So if you ever see a message in the bottle, you definitely want to try to grab it. Alright, so yeah, add it to the archives. I'll read it later. But yeah, there is an outpost over here, and you absolutely want to go and check out the outposts. That Mega Fort, new players, stay away from the Mega Fort. You're not ready for it yet. Eventually, when you go through the main story for Skurlock and the Admiral over in Telok, and build up a nice ship, get it up to rank 15, or at least get it up high enough to where you can go through the ascension process in order to move on from World Tier 1 to World Tier 2. Then you might be ready to eventually tackle the Mega Fort, but new players, you're probably not ready yet. But don't worry. One day you'll get there, hopefully. But at the very least, you could sail over to these outposts that have question marks and discover them. So I'll go ahead and discover the oblet real quick, even though I'm already aware of the oblet. And we'll just see how far we've come so far in our journey, which has fortunately become very uneventful. So we've made it here. This is a good point. There's several other places we may stop along the way, but we won't get too far from shore. But we might as well grab a few items, and this is something I highly recommend all of you do anytime you're on shore, especially water. That'll definitely help with the sails, and I should take advantage of that. And the usual goodies like cannonballs, bombard balls, all kind of balls. That didn't sound right. Okay, so now that I grabbed those, let's get back in the boat, because we still got a journey ahead of us to Telok. Alright, but so far so good. I haven't encountered any major trouble yet, and you may notice I'm trying to avoid, I'll show you what I'm trying to do, and this is what I'd recommend for new players that decide to take the journey across the open waters to Telok in the East Indies. I would advise you not drive up here. Do not take your boat up here, especially if you like a better or another one of the medium boats. Yeah, one of the starter boats that you get. Don't do this. This is very rough waters. I would advise you kind of go this way like I'm doing. So that would be my advice to anyone in a similar situation. But there's plenty for you to do in the Red Isles, like the Skurlock missions and some other things before you have to make that journey to Telok. But fortunately, once you do like the tutorial mission and you have access to the open ocean, you can go explore. You can sail around the Red Isles. You can even go all the way here to the coast of Africa if you want, or over here. It's just that the further you get away from the Red Isles, the tougher it gets, especially against dangerous, tough foes. Like, for example, the Shadow Fleet. You definitely want to stay away from the Shadow Fleet. Yeah, they're dangerous. So there's a convoy in the distance, so we're going to try and avoid that. Because I don't really feel like this ship, this level 3 better, is going to do much good against any foes in a fight. It would not last long. And spoiler alert, my character would not be the winner. So I want to try to avoid any foes as possible. Yeah, I definitely want to avoid the Shadow Fleet convoy. You're not ready for the Shadow Fleet yet. Or the Course fleets, or the Chinese fleets. Like regular pirate ships, maybe, right? Regular pirate ships, okay, possibly. But, like, at this level, yeah, the batter's just no match to a lot of things that are sailing around the ocean, are swimming around the ocean, like with all the sea creatures. And it's going to take a quick minute to get over here, but that's totally fine. Oh, shit. So, yeah. In normal situations, I would not be too worried about a level 10 pirate ship. But, once again, I'm in a level 3 ship. In a better. So I want to try to avoid conflict. That's my entire strategy here, is to avoid any spots of bother. Fortunately, at the moment, the French and the Dutch are not at war with each other. It's about to heat up with the faction war coming with Season 3, which I'm very, very excited for. Let me know, what side are y'all picking? The French or the Dutch? But hopefully that'll be well worth the wait. Originally it was supposed to come out this past season, but it got delayed. But look, if it needed to be delayed, then it needed to be delayed, and I completely understand that. But we're also supposed to get land combat, so maybe we'll actually be able to do some land combat, just like we were able to do in Black Flag many years ago. And yeah, I did talk about the Black Flag remake over the weekend a little bit during the Skull and Bones live stream with Riley, my better half. And I also made a video about the Black Flag remake. I'll leave that below in the description. Well, yeah, the description section in case you are curious. But hopefully land combat will be decent. I also hope that it's coming with Season 3 along with the faction war. And we're supposed to be getting some officers. And we're also getting the Sloop of War, which is basically going to be a poison ship. So I hope that that's a decent ship. It looks good. It actually does look really good. But yeah, I hope that it... Oh, no. Okay, so this is probably the weakest of the creatures. No, this is not the weakest of the Tylosauruses. This is the stronger one. Okay, so we definitely don't want to fight this Tylosaurus. Yeah, let's just... let's avoid that. Yeah, better to avoid it. Yeah, it's probably a wise decision to keep our distance. So yeah, you see big giant sharks or Tylosauruses swimming around, or dragons overhead, and you're a low-level player, run as fast as you can. Okay, so we do have another island we're approaching. So what we'll do is we'll come and land on this island just so I can island hop and have it claimed, I guess, or discovered, more or less. But that's really the strategy, is try to get across the lower hemisphere, like I'm doing this strategy. If you want to go like exploring up into the Indies, yeah, I would not go up here. This is really, really rough waters. It's precarious no matter which way you go, but I feel like this is the better way for newer captains that are just trying to get across the ocean and get from one pirate den to the other, because there are 2 pirate dens in the game. Skurlock's, which is St. Anne's, and the Admiral's, which is all the way up in Telok. But so far, so good. We had a couple of close calls with that level 10 pirate ship and that one Tylosaurus. And there's 2 Tylosauruses. There's a green one. That's the easiest one to fight, and eventually you'll probably have to fight that one. But it's nowhere near as tough for a starting player as, that white and red one. So we're going to go ahead and land here, go ashore for a moment, discover this, because anytime you see an outpost, discover it. Because it's a place for you to take refuge, to repair your ship if you're damaged, to gather some supplies, and who knows, maybe if you have a treasure map on you, right? And you just happen to land somewhere where a treasure map is. And it's a good for fast travel, right? So once you discover outposts, as most of you are probably aware of, you can start to fast travel. The only problem is, as you may notice, fast travel does cost a bit of coin. And like newer pirates are not going to have as much silver. So I would advise against you using the fast travel until you've built up a decent war chest of silver. Just focus on enjoying the game, sailing around the Red Isles, explore this, do the missions, the side quests over here. And then slowly but surely, you'll probably build up a nice small fortune of silver. And then eventually it'll get to the point where you'll probably end up just fast traveling everywhere. That's probably the way to do. Sorry about my ring. I banged my ring against my desk by mistake. It happens. Okay. So, I'm just glad we haven't sunk yet. Because I really don't want to have to start completely over. And that's the other reason why I'm doing it this way, is because there is always a possibility that a pirate ship or some other faction or sea creature might have my number. And yeah, I'd rather, if I end up being sent all the way back to St. Anne, I'd rather be able to just fast travel to the previous island I landed on and then continue this journey across the ocean. Okay, so a Dutch ship is fighting a pirate ship. So we're not going to bother with this little scuffle. We're going to try and get around it. And that's why you need to have water. Water will increase your sail speed by 10%. And right now we also have an advantage of the wind. So the wind should also help carry us. But you have to be mindful. Sea creatures do like this part of the world. We've already ran across one of the Tylosauruses. There might be a Megalodon over here. So I definitely want to be cautious. And we're also at the very edge of the map. So you definitely don't want to go across the edge of the map. Oh, fudge. That's bad. Uh-oh. Fuck. Not good. The Dutch lost that fight. Like, I got nothing on this ship that you want. I got nothing, mister. Nothing. We barely have water. We're just a little guy. Just leave us alone. It's so funny, like, because I remember how afraid I was at first to come across these larger ships when I first started playing over a year ago. But now, it's like a level 10 ship to me is nothing. And, like, especially in my frigate. Like, if I'm in my brigantine on my other character, my frigate, or my schooner, or one of my other ships, it's like, oh, that's no big deal. I can just wreck that in 5 seconds. It's a little... You're a little bit lower in the food chain when you're starting off and you're a better. So you have to be mindful of that. Oh, great. Freaking privateer. Yeah, try to avoid the ships with red sails because they want to kill you. They're not your friends. Just stay away from them. Yeah, it is a Timu frigate compared to player frigates. But that Timu frigate could still destroy me. So yeah, we'll just try to keep our distance. But so far we're on course. We have a few close calls. You know what I think Skull and Bones should do? And I think Sea of Thieves did this. Like, they allow you now to have a second character. I hope that eventually for the same account, you're able to, like, have a secondary character. Kind of like with Grand Theft Auto Online, for those of you that play Grand Theft Auto Online. You know what I'm talking about. Or you can just do what I did and just use a backup PlayStation account that I have. That I use for my other things, like my GTA Online Live and Legal series with my friend Kane. So that's basically what I did for this character. But it is interesting having to find yourself at this point, like, and you have all this knowledge. I guess the knowledge is definitely my greatest ally at the moment, because I know things now that I did not know when I first started playing the game, and that's part of the fun. You know, it's part of the fun, because you just feel like, hey, I know what I'm doing. At least I kind of know what I'm doing. But it's also fun to experience the game for the first time, and that's something I hope that a lot of you newer players are enjoying, especially since this game has a lot more to offer a year later than when it did back at launch, because we've had several seasons, several ships added, we've had like a lot of weapons, we've had Ascension weapons added, lots of furniture, lots of cosmetics, different sea creatures and pirate lords to fight or run away from. So I'm going to go over here to this island, and I'm going to land on that island as well. Like, once again, we're just doing the good old-fashioned island hopping. And you definitely want to take advantage of taking photos. That's always fun. Especially for, like, thumbnails. It works for that, too. But, I mean, the photo mode in this game is not too bad. There are better photo modes, like, for example, Ghost of Tsushima or Ghost of Yotei, coming out this week, has a really good photo mode. And, by the way, shameless plug, I'm going to start streaming Ghost of Yote probably, I don't know if it's going to be Thursday or Friday my time. I'll let y'all know. It depends on Ghost of Yote's launch time across the world on Thursday, because that's going to be October 2nd. So I don't know exactly when it's going to launch, but there's a very real possibility. I may start my Ghost of Yote playthrough on YouTube and Twitch, by the way, starting on Friday, probably 12 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. UK. I don't think I'll be starting at Thursday. There's always a chance I might start at Thursday if the launch is like early Thursday morning my time. But either way, I'm very interested in Ghost of Yote because I loved Ghost of Tsushima. And so far, Ghost of Yote has gotten some really, really good reviews. And I'm very interested in playing it. And I hope it's decent. I really do. I don't know if the story's going to be as good, because the story of Ghost of Tsushima is amazing. And by the way, you can always go back and watch my Ghost of Tsushima Let's Plays and other Let's Plays I've done on the channel. I've done quite a few this year. I've done Mafia the Old Country. I think that was the last one we did. I also played Mind's Eye. Yeah. Don't get me started about Mind's Eye. God. That game needed way more time in the oven. But let's see. We also did a few other games as well. Oh, yeah, the Oblivion remake. I never played Oblivion before. I love Skyrim. And I played Skyrim so many freaking times. But I never got around to playing Oblivion. But I did enjoy the Oblivion remake, remaster. Is it a remake or a remaster? I think it's kind of a hybrid. All right, so we want to avoid Le Pest's Den. I think, yeah, see that over there? That's kind of like Le Pest's turf. So right now I don't have to fight him. But we're just going to sail by as quickly as we can and hope that we don't get like bombed by his tower. And yeah, that pirate ship can stay over there for all I care. But let's see what else I played. I played a police game that was pretty decent. What was that game called? Let me look on my playlist. Yeah, sometimes I'm pretty good about remembering stuff off the top of my head. Sometimes not so much. Let's see, what was the game called? Oh yeah, The Precinct. Yeah, The Precinct was not bad. It reminded me of like old school GTA, like GTA 1 and 2, which I played when I was a kid, long time ago. But instead of being a criminal, you're actually playing a cop, which is what GTA originally was going to be called. It was going to be called Race and Chase. And originally it was going to actually be a cop, but there was some sort of bug or glitch that caused what, they say is a happy accident. And the rest, as they say, is history when it comes to GTA. But I did enjoy playing The Precinct. I also played through RoboCop Rogue City. And that was good as well, because I love the first RoboCop movie. The sequel's not as good, but the original RoboCop is amazing. And I felt like RoboCop Rogue City, especially since they brought back Peter Weller, I felt like it was a worthy sequel. And it's amazing. And my friend UG Outlaw also played through the DLC. I haven't got around to playing the DLC. Maybe I will eventually. But he said it was pretty good. I think it's challenging, but it's also pretty good. So those are the games I've played through just this year, along with many other games I've played throughout the entire existence of my channel. So I don't just play GTA. I don't just play Skull and Bones or Mafia or Red Dead. There's plenty of other content on the channel as well. So we have basically made it to the south part of the Indian Ocean, so that's good, or the East Indies. So far, so good. But we still got to be mindful, because there's also factions over here that will aggro on us. The Dutch, they won't bother us as long as we don't bother them for now. The Rimpa don't like the Dutch, but at the moment the Rimpa don't have a problem with me. So those two factions I'm not too terribly concerned about. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing through Ghost of Yote. I hope it's good. I'm going in with an open mind, despite some concerns people have, despite some criticisms, real life stuff that has occurred. I'm going in with an open mind, and I'm hoping that it's going to be a decent game. Hopefully. It is made by Sucker Punch, and my better half, Riley, she absolutely loves Sucker Punch. Like the Sly Cooper games, 1, 2, and 3. She loves those games. That's like her favorite franchise ever. Plus, Sucker Punch, did a good job with Infamous. I never played Infamous, but I've always heard good things about Infamous. And once again, I absolutely loved playing Ghost of Tsushima. And the Iki Island expansion, plus Riley and a few others. And I played Ghost of Tsushima Legends, and that was pretty good too. And there's going to be a Ghost of Yote Legends. So I guess we'll check that out in a few months from now. And there's also supposed to be a Mind's Eye multiplayer. I don't know if I'm going to end up playing the Mind's Eye multiplayer. Would y'all like to see me and a few others play the Mind's Eye multiplayer if they actually do it? I really don't know. Can I get through this? I think I might be able to. Yeah, it might be a small opening, but fortunately the better's a pretty small boat, so we might be able to slip on by, hopefully. Oh, there's another message in a bottle. Let me grab that. This is usually like reserved for like newer players. Okay. There we go. So I'll read those later, and I've already read those, you know, in my other character, so I don't really have to. It's just something else you can find along the Indian Ocean as you're playing through and selling through the game your first time. A lot of stuff to do for new players. It's just strange because there's so many games that you regret playing, but then there's games that you really wish you could go back and play the first time. Oh, we're going the opposite way. We're going back out into the open ocean. That's not what we want to do. So let's just sail back into these islands. That's probably a wise decision. But yeah, there's so many games that I look back on and I really wish I could go and experience them again for the first time. But at least I got the memories of them. Well, for now. But yeah, I mean, like the first time I played through Ghost of Tsushima, it was absolutely amazing. Or the first time I played through Red Dead Redemption 1 or Red Dead Redemption 2 or the Mafia games. But yeah, I really did enjoy, I would say I enjoyed Mafia the Old Country and The Precinct, RoboCop, Oblivion. Mind's Eye, not so much. At the moment, that's at the bottom of my list of games that I've streamed through start to finish in 2025. I feel like Ghost of Yotei will be better than Mind's Eye. I think that's a safe bet. Whether or not it's going to be up there with like Mafia the Old Country, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But like I said, I'm giving it a fair shake. Even though I would have liked a direct sequel with continuing the story of Jin Sakai and maybe the second Mongolian invasion of Japan. That would have made sense because a few years after the first invasion, the Mongolians tried it again, and they also failed it the second time. But, you know, Sucker Punch made the decision to jump ahead in the timeline, and that's fine. That was their choice. I respect their choice, and I just hope it's a good game. But so far, the reviews seem pretty positive. Pretty optimistic. And while I'm waiting, I've been playing a lot of No Man's Sky. Now, there are games I will play off stream and on stream or also make content for, which I'm really going to start cutting back on that, especially once GTA 6 comes out. So by the time GTA 6 comes out, my focus will probably be on primarily GTA 6 Online in the future. I'm still focused on GTA Online as well, by the way. So with the Halloween event coming up, and, well, the December update, which finally going to add mansions. As long as I'm still interested in Skull and Bones, as long as y'all still want me to play Skull and Bones and stream Skull and Bones and cover Skull and Bones, I will continue to feature it on the channel. Because it's still a guilty pleasure of mine. And I feel like Ubisoft Singapore, to your credit, you all have done a good job listening to the community. And it seems like most of the time, they take what we have to say, our advice, our suggestions, and eventually we see those suggestions end up making it into the game. For the most part. But I really do hope that this game gets a year 3. But, you know, year 3 in 2026, I'm excited about it if there is one. But along with that, I'm also going to be focusing on GTA 6. So hopefully if you're a Skull and Bones fan and also a GTA fan, then, well, hello. You're welcome to stick around. And I'm also going to play through some Jurassic World Evolution 3 coming up after Ghost of Yotei. Because I have this silly series from Jurassic World Evolution 2 a year ago. Because I got it free on PlayStation. Because I love dinosaurs. Ever since I was a kid, I love dinosaurs. Even before the first Jurassic Park movie came out, I read the book by Michael Crichton. And yeah, I also read his second book, Lost World, which really doesn't really have a... It's like the movie's loosely based off of the book, but not as much. But anyways, like the first Jurassic Park book and movie are both amazing. And so I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan. The Jurassic World movies, I would say I like the first Jurassic World movie. after that, it just kept going downhill. Yeah. I didn't even bother to go watch Rebirth because, like, I just was so disappointed in, like, Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. Even though Dominion brought back, the old crew, Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum, who only had like 5-second cameo in like Fallen Kingdom. So it was nice to see them back, unlike actors in the sequel trilogy, right? But yeah, it was still not a good movie. Neither one of those were. So I just didn't want to give like Jurassic World Rebirth a chance. I'm glad I didn't. Because there's only one scene that I was kind of interested in, and it's actually taken out of the novel from Jurassic Park. The raft scene where the T-Rex is chasing Dr. Grant, Lex, and Tim. But that was on Jurassic Park from the novel, which never made it into the original movie. So I just watched that scene on YouTube. Saved me a little money. But yeah, I'm planning on playing some Jurassic World Evolution 3 later on in October. And I did create my own park because when I used to have a slight drinking problem, by the way, I don't anymore. And, if you drink, that's fine, everything in moderation, but I choose to put my health above that vice. So I try to keep myself sober. I've been sober for a quick minute now. And I'm also trying to walk more, exercise more, get back in shape. But there was a stream, one of my drunk streams a long time ago, where I started singing the Jurassic Park song with the words "Dinosaurs are real." And ever since then, that's become kind of a thing for me personally. And I decided to name my own fictional dinosaur park franchise in Jurassic World Evolution 2, Darland. DAR, Dinosaurs Are Real. So I did several episodes of that on the playlist. If you're also a Jurassic Dino fan like me, you can go and check out the previous episodes of Darland, Jurassic World Evolution 2. In other words, we're bringing back Darland from bankruptcy for Jurassic World Evolution 3. So that's happening later in October, November, post Ghost of Yote. And also October, one of my favorite months of the year. My better half has a birthday this month. It's fall. Well, it's going to be fall. Halloween season. I love Halloween season. And speaking of Halloween, 40th anniversary of Back to the Future, one of my better half's favorite movies of all time. She loves Back to the Future and the Back to the Future trilogy. I do too. I absolutely love the Back to the Future trilogy. It's not the top of my list, but it's definitely on the list. But Back to the Future is her fave. And it's actually coming back to some theaters. And so I got us some tickets to go watch a Halloween showing of Back to the Future. So she's really, really excited about that. And so am I. I would say my favorite movie of all time is Ghostbusters. That's my favorite. The original Ghostbusters. No, not that thing in 2016. That doesn't count. Come on. But anyways, we are slowly getting close to our goal. Why do I keep going the wrong way? I keep going the wrong way. I thought you were a new player. I guess I am a new player. I thought I wasn't a new player, but yeah, you know what? It's the stupid skull icon. That's what made me like go that way. Silly me. But anyways, we took a little detour. It happens. But yeah, Ghostbusters is easily my favorite movie of all time. Back to the Future, also amazing. So I'm really excited to go watch Back to the Future in the theaters with Riley. I know she is too. So that's going to happen on Halloween. And we're doing an early showing because over the past few years since we've moved to Hill Country in this neighborhood, the trick-or-treaters like to actually come out in the neighborhood and trick-or-treat. So, we get the candy. We hand out the candy to the trick-or-treaters. We mingle with some of our fellow neighbors. So that's fun. And we're going to do that again this year. So we had to go to an early matinee showing of Back to the Future in order to do that. But that's totally fine. But I think it's going to be a really good Halloween. I don't know what we're going to dress up as. What's interesting is Riley and I did dress up as pirates last year. So we were actually pirates. Because we were playing Sea of Thieves. And I was also playing Skull and Bones. I managed to get her into Skull and Bones a few months ago. Like a month or two ago? Yeah. When it was like deep discounted at the launch of year 2, season 2. So hopefully they'll do the same thing with the game on year 2, season 3, because I think that could help bring even more players in. Because our friend Pat, you may have heard of him, the professional. He has spoken some interest in giving Skull and Bones another chance, because I think he played the beta. But he's interested in giving it a chance once land combat is added. So I would recommend Ubisoft do another deep discount of Skull and Bones with the launch of year 2, season 3. That's just my suggestion, Ubisoft. I have a few others if any of you are interested. But yeah, hopefully you all have a very good October, even though so far this year has been, not the best. But then again, it's the 2020s. My hope is maybe if we make it to the 2030s, that the 2030s end up being boring and uneventful, and everything just goes normal and smooth and no major issues in the world. Because I feel like we've been through the ringer over the first half of this decade alone. It makes me dread wondering what's waiting for us with the rest of the decade. But I always try to be optimistic. I can be a pessimist. Absolutely, I can be pessimistic. But I try to fight my pessimism, or some would say realism, right? And I do try to find some sort of silver lining, the light at the end of the tunnel, even if that light ends up being a freight train, in the words of Metallica. All right, so I wanted to stop here because I felt like those Chinese ships were getting a little too close. Plus, I wanted to discover the ruined lighthouse. So, here we are here. So we're making good. We're making progress despite some of my oofs. We're getting close to Telok. So our journey has taken us across the ocean, north. So our goal is much closer than it was when we first began. And to my credit, so far I have yet to sink. So can I make it the rest of the way without sinking? Tune in next time. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a good year eventually. Maybe 2026 will go better. Okay, let's write off 2025. Okay, let's just say 2025 for the most part. I mean, there's always good stuff to be found. It's not always all bad, right? But yeah, the 2020s haven't been the best decade, and I've been around for a few decades so far. But there's always the hope that things get better. 2026, there's possibly going to be a Black Flag remake coming in 2026, either in the spring or fall. I'm excited about that. There's going to be GTA 6, possibly May, and other things happening. So we can only hope that 2026 goes better, right? But we'll just have to wait and see. We're all on this roller coaster ride together, for better or worse. But I am happy to be here still, despite how bad things have gotten. I'm still grateful to be around, and hopefully I'll be around for a while longer, and hopefully you all are as well. But yeah, we are once again, that stupid freaking waypoint is tricking me. Okay, when that happens, my advice to all of you is to look at the compass and go north, right? Don't be deceived by this bullshit over here. This is a mission I'll eventually get around to doing with this character, but I think that's the problem. I'm mentally used to going towards the waypoint over the past year of playing the game, and I think subconsciously I'm just going there because that's what I usually do. So if all else fails and you got to go north, just look at your compass at the top right hand corner of the screen. The mini map, has an arrow, which is north. Then you have W for west, S for south, east, E, obviously. And just go that way. That's what I should have been doing to begin with. But anyways, another detour, almost a detour, right? But the future of Skull and Bones, what do I think? Now, I've mentioned this before, but I might as well just talk about what I would like to see in the future of Skull and Bones, besides what we know is coming. I hope that Year 2, Season 3 has a clean version of the bark and the better. Well, a clean version of the bark and the brig, not the better. The better's fine. Cosmetically, it looks fine. It doesn't need to be cleaned. But the brig, the bark, absolutely, we need clean versions. And I think in the little teaser, like for Season 3, I think Riley Saul a clean version of the Bark, so maybe we are finally getting clean versions of those ships, and we'll have the ability maybe to switch to the clean version without spending any extra money in the shop or whatever. But beyond that, beyond the faction war, beyond the land combat, hopefully land combat's good, the officers, eventually the Kraken, we got the sloop of war, and then we got the Corvette. I'm excited for the Corvette. I cannot wait to get the Corvette. Hopefully that's a good ship. Hopefully. But I think the sloop of war is going to be a DPS. The frigate was a tank. So I feel like the Corvette's probably going to be a healing ship, right? A support ship. Because we have one large tank ship. I don't think that we're going to have two large tank ships right away. They're probably going to either make the Corvette a DPS or a support ship. And I think it's been a quick minute since we've got a support ship. So I think that they'll probably make the Corvette a support ship. It's either going to be a support or DPS, but I'm just taking a wild guess. Since the Super Wars DPS, it would make sense for the next ship to be quote-unquote support. But year 3, I hope we get more large ships. I feel like they're probably going to use large ships that already exist in the game, like the Flute, the Dutch ship. We've probably passed it a few times already. And maybe the War Junk, the ship that Lee uses. Maybe we'll get that ship. I know some people want like a galleon or like a man of war. I mean, it's possible, but I also would like to see like the pirate den added. It'd be cool if we had our own personal pirate den, similar to the Kubrick twins and Lee, how they have their own pirate dens. We can go inside. I hope we have something like that that's customizable. I've mentioned it before, but that's definitely something I would not mind having in the game. And maybe the BTA, the British Trade Alliance. I think that they kind of teased that after the fact of like the video I made with the year 2 season 3 info video. I did study that screenshot a little bit, and I believe that is the BTA emblem. And interestingly enough, I went back to the B-roll that I recorded for my beginner's guide, because I did record it from the very beginning. I just didn't include it in that video where you're having to fight off the BTA. And yeah, it's the same symbol. So I guess the mysterious fellow or person we're going to run into in year 2, season 3 is, I guess, a representative of the British Trade Alliance. So, okay. So here's our situation. We are very close to our goal. So close. We've made it here. Island hop. Over here, 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 here. So, as y'all can tell, I've managed to somehow do this without sinking. We've had some close calls. The Chinese definitely want to sink me. I don't want them to sink me. It's kind of like a difference of opinion, right? They say, hey, I want to sink you. I'm like, no, I disagree. I don't want to be sunk. I just want to get to Telok in one piece. But fortunately, I think I'll be able to, because Telok is literally like right here. It's like beyond it's like we're at the front door of Telok. And once we get to Telok, then we'll be able to spend the currency, and then we can call it a day. So, yeah, I do appreciate all of you that have hanged out with me for the past 40 minutes now? 40 minutes, damn. But it's been fun. I've rambled a little bit. We talked about a few things. And, yeah, I'm going to continue making content for Skull and Bones, continue streaming it, post Ghost of Yote. We'll be back to Skull and Bones streams post Yote, but also mix in some GTA again, as well as Jurassic World Evolution 3. And, yeah, we're definitely going to cover, in a few weeks from now, we're definitely going to cover year 2, season 3. Most of you know that. Streams, YouTube, Twitch, maybe even some Twitch drop streams. It's one of the reasons why I'm now multi-streaming on Twitch, is to get them drops. So that's me being honest, because I prefer honesty. And, I'm reaching another audience besides my YouTube audience, so it's good to branch out. But that's as far as I'm going to go. I'm not going to go any further, just YouTube and Twitch. Okay, so we made it. And now I can spend my 7,000 event currency on this stuff. So what should I buy first? So I think the smart thing to do is to, I guess, go at it from the perspective of a new pirate. So if you do manage to make it to Telok, you're a new player, you have all this event currency to spend. Well, you've already done it because it's in the past, so I guess it doesn't matter. But I guess what I'm going to do is maybe I'll just buy one of each thing until I go completely broke. Yeah, I know about cosmetic upgrades. Thank you very much. I'm aware of that. That way, if I ever do revisit this character for like a future playthrough or series or maybe a stream series, then I'll have some additional materials in my warehouse for crafting and building, upgrading future ships. In other words, I'm planning ahead. All right, so yeah, I'll buy those. Yeah, I'll definitely buy that. All right, so I'm now down to 100. So yeah, I've got deep iron, even though I don't know if I'll ever use deep iron with this character, but we'll see. Maybe one day. All right, so I can buy one more thing. Okay, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which one? Which one? I will pick that one. Okay. All right, so I'm down to 40. So I think I spent my funds. I just did not want to let that 7,000 event currency go to waste, and hopefully y'all did the same for the Darktide Lullaby in all events. So obviously you want to spend your event currency on the cosmetics that come with it. But after that's said and done, there's always a shop or an altar or somewhere to go, a ledger that allows you a place to spend that additional event currency. My advice is do it. Yeah, don't waste it. Do it. Because, that's, event currency sitting there that you can spend and it can benefit you in the future. And that's kind of like what I did here. Like all this extra currency, absolutely. I'm going to be able to use this down the road, all these materials, in a future build, a future series on the channel. So that'll benefit me greatly, especially this deep iron. I mean, I just don't see this character ever becoming like at the same level as my other character, which is like 100 plus level captain. So that's probably never going to happen here. But if I ever decide to do kind of a starting over series with this Skull and Bones character, then this will be perfect for it. All right, so I went ahead and threw all that into the warehouse. Very nice. And before I go, let me see if I have any seasonal currency to spend with Blackwood. I don't know if I do, but I can at least... Oh, I don't even have access to Blackwood yet. Okay, never mind. Okay, so anyways, our journey has come to an end, my friends. And I appreciate you all for hopping on board and trusting me, your captain, to get us all the way from St. Anne down this way, all the way up to Telok in one piece. I did it. I somehow pulled it off, despite a few close calls along the way. We nearly got eaten by a Tylosaurus, the Shadow Fleet, some pirates, privateers, the Chinese. Yeah, they were trying, but fortunately we managed to give them the slip, as the old saying goes. But anyways, I will continue covering Skull and Bones going forward into Year 2, Season 3. And what are you most excited about when it comes to the next season of Skull and Bones? Feel free and let me know below in the comments section.